Dhyanamoolam Gurumurti Pujamoolam Gurupadam Mantramulam Guruvakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om. Today I was requested to talk on the topic of Mrityu, death. Very interesting topic. And I think it is one of the greatest or the biggest fear of life is the death. And at the same time, everybody knows that if we don't have a choice, sooner or later, it is to happen. But when it happens to anybody other than you, of course, when it happens to you, you're not going to witness it. But when it happens to the other people, we all the time think that it is such and such fellow passed away, but it's not with me, or it's not going to happen to me or to my relatives. Meaning, husband, wife, father, mother, son, children, grandparent, whosoever. But it's not going to happen to us. It happened to him or her. So that's the way we reconcile and we get back into the routine. And truly speaking, eulogy or comfort or consolations, really speaking, are not the true words per se. Almost everybody talks about that may his soul or spirit lies in peace. Do you really truly mean it? And when that thing happens, are you not carrying any reminder that this thing happened to John Doe's mother? And next day it can happen to John Doe's father, and sometime it can happen to John Doe. So to say, we conveniently take the death to be happening to other than you or yours. But truly speaking, how a sadhaka, an aspirant, has to take it. And lifelong is a sadhana to understand that our identity, which we call our true identity, is how far false it is. And once when the genuine true identity is known, then the phony identity drops by itself. Let me explain the true identity and the phony identity. And today, and like other days also, I'm not going to leave you at the theoretical level, but how we apply in our practical life so that when the moment comes, or even before, we feel we are prepared. And whether you are prepared or not, if it is to happen, it will happen. So to say, our phony identity, to which we call it most practical and real identity. So if somebody asks you, who are you? We just give our name. Of course, it's your identity for most practical and social purposes. But the reason we call it, and the saint call it, to be not real, because it is not an eternal identity. Meaning, today you are, and tomorrow you may not be. And what do you mean by tomorrow you may not be? Your body may not be tomorrow. As a matter of fact, every day, every minute, every second, body is changing, which we have learned in Upanishad, Ishabhasya, Jagatyam Jagat. So in this, wherever Isha is parading, it's changing. Do we constantly remind ourselves? Changing meaning, of course, the form is changing, characteristic is changing, colors are changing, and a time will come that change, decay, and death, which are the characteristic of our body. Change means change, decay, wearing out. And death, I know you cannot wear out anymore, so that is death. And really speaking, death is happening every single second. We don't realize it. By the time we are born, some cells are dying. And even before we were born, cells have been dying. So to say, death, and instead of the word death, I say deaths, plural, are happening, not is happening, every single moment. And we have to appreciate that. Because if it is not, and none of us likes it, but say, if somebody lives 100 years, then we think, oh, he lived fully. But the fellow who is dying at 100 may still would like to live more. Even though because of the disease and pain and suffering, sometimes they say that God take me away. But really speaking, if the time permits, he or she would like to extend the life further. So to say, we are not really prepared. Why we are not prepared? Because we feel life is insufficient. Couple of weeks ago, we have studied this word, insufficiency. But if you're so satisfied that all the satisfying details, the object that need to be earned or to be acquired I have gotten it. I'm so satisfied with the life. And until the end moment comes, I will serve the best I can. If that satisfaction is derived, if this fullness is derived, then slowly and slowly, your urge to acquire more or your urge to leave alone and not surrendering will continue. So to say, try to learn, earn, and witness feeling of fulfillment. A lot of us, we would like to learn all this at the theoretical or the logical level. This is not the theoretical or logical science to be acquired just by studying. It reminds me of a story that I heard, and it is very applicable story that a gentleman, a young man, decided, oh my God, I don't know swimming. I must learn swimming. So he went to a swimming teacher and told us, sir, please teach me how to swim. And while he was walking to, say, a river, and the expert teacher was next to him, and the river was so mired and shallow. But since the boy slipped, he got so scared that he ran out. So the teacher says, hey, what you doing? Come on in, I'm here. No. I don't want to get into the water. First you teach me. Once I learn swimming, then only I will get into the water. All of us can laugh at this. But how applicable it is. Unless you live the life, and living the life meaning happiness, unhappiness, pain, misery, joy, success, failure, all those beautiful avenues of life to be enjoyed. That's life. All the different tastes to be acquired, all the different colors and joy of the life to be enjoyed. And once while you do that, while doing that, you are slowly acquiring as to how to lighten the body and swim on the surface of the water. But staying out of it, don't think we're going to learn it. Don't think that just by renouncing it and leaving it on the mountains of Himalayas, you're going to prevent death or you're going to prevent the suffering. No. And that also doesn't mean that those who are renouncing are making mistake. No. That is a separate topic. I will talk some other time. What is renouncement? At the same time, those who have renounced don't also expect that they are not supposed to eat what we normally eat, or they are not supposed to behave like we normally behave. The major change in us and them is the process of awareness. What he or she is aware, what we are not, or what he or she is practicing to be aware, which we are not. So to say, you can wear a suit, and once you know how to swim, you can swim in, and I mean real full three-piece suit. And you do not necessarily have to have a swimming costume to swim, whereby if you are whether wearing saffron clothes or not wearing saffron clothes or white clothes or whatever, but if you have the awareness as to who you are and how to lighten the body, then you can swim the ocean of life. That also doesn't mean that those saints and seers and yogis are not gonna die. They have, even some of them, I don't say everybody, some of them have reached to that stage of achievement that they can sit and they say, now, after 2 minutes, take away my body for cremation. That means what? Ichha mrityu, at will, dying at will. And I think most of us have seen a little clip of a video of Swami Vivekananda. He does his pranayam, and at the time of doing Ujjayi, he raises his head and let the spirit leave or leave the body alone. That is at will. So to say, the point I was making is the stage of awareness. Stage of awareness is so important, and that slowly one can develop. Please do not get fed up with little pain or misery here and there. Pain is there provided you believe it, that it is there. And some of us, we may think the pain is the only thing. So every single moment, we are thinking of pain, 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 and pain. And from day one, they have derived the attitude that I must not have any pain. And I would say there's not a person on this universe who has not seen the pain. Coming to now the application as to how, what we can do to be prepared for our death. And a lot of spiritual scriptures have said, I also agree, it's not my experience, and that is that the body is like an apron, a cloth. As we keep on changing clothes, so will the body be from death, from birth to death, one cloth, second birth to death, second cloth. So the body will keep on changing. If somebody does not want to believe in the concept of reincarnation, don't worry. You can even feel that you're going to heaven. So whatever is the heaven and wherever is the heaven, you will not have the same body. So to say, apparent changes. And even if you don't believe it, doesn't matter. But the point is, your connection with everybody else and everything else. What I mean by everything else, your car, your business, your house, your property, everything will stay here. Only you will move. And I don't want to say you meaning what, your body or this, but those who believe, they know that most of us, either our body is cremated or buried. So to say, body stays here, and the true identity within us that I won't say that gets separated, but that merges, and that is already there, but its boundary in the form of our body is release. Understand, I used very carefully word. Neither the spirit leaves the body, nor the body leaves the spirit. Spirit exists, And the typical example has been given that if you take a plastic cup and some air is in it, and once you crush the plastic cup, what happens? Some people say, oh, the air merges with the air outside. But so far as air is concerned, there is no inside and there's no outside. Only thing is the boundaries were set by the plastic cup. So the boundary is no more binding the volume of the space. That's it. So that's what happens when the spirit, and we still intentionally use the word, when spirit leaves the body. Body's confinement changes to nothingness. Understand? And that's the freedom. Now coming to the point of what we can do. First of all, and this is not going to happen in few days or a few months or a year or a couple of years, but that should be our joy. That should be, we should learn to enjoy our process. Number one, whatever we acquire from outside, with our eyes, with our ears, with our tongue, tasting, with our feeling, touch, all right, and the smell. Don't say you are doing it. My eyes are seeing it. My nose is smelling it. And even if you do not want to describe your five senses, just say your body is feeling happiness. You're not feeling happiness. You are happy anyway. And if you're seeing a beautiful, say, rose flower or jasmine, then you say, my body is feeling it, seeing it, smelling jasmine. And you mean it, just don't say, oh, my body is doing it. Give me pizza. Oh, no, my body is drinking Coke. Give me Coke. No, no, no. Be so fully aware that pretty soon it becomes your nature. And you come to realize whether you eat or you don't eat makes no difference. Slowly, the stages will evolve. So now you know that whatever you are acquiring from outside is not yours, and you are not that. Second thing, next in line, all the thoughts that come to you. What is thought and what not? It's another topic. But right now, understand, those thoughts are also not you. But people may say that, Swamiji, you don't know. We cannot stop the thoughts. I understand that you cannot stop the thought, but you can slow it down via process of dharana. Again, the word dharana comes into picture, contemplation. And that is the way, no other way. So when you sit in dharana, observe the thoughts. And every thought comes in, remind yourself, thoughts are not mine, or I am not the thought. And once you are not the thought, you are not also the intelligence to make the decision. And once you are not the thought, you are also not the memories of the thoughts. And these three put together, it becomes your identity, your ego. So your ego is also not you. Keep on reminding one after another, this is not I, this is not I. So one after another, you peel off the layers of onion. and then whatever is left, you are left with nothingness. And that nothingness cannot be identified, cannot have shape or size or color. And as a result, this is a gay, unknowable. That is what you are. And once you reach to that level, then what happens to your body? The container. And here to take the example, the space or the air inside that plastic cup, does it ever matter what happened to the container? And likewise, also you can say, is the container concerned about the air inside the glass or the space inside the glass? Also, do not think that spirit, consciousness, your real identity is within you. It is everywhere. So you cannot say the spirit is in me, or you cannot also say that this body is in the spirit. To quite a degree, it is inseparable and unknowable spirit consciousness, so you don't know. So the death is nothing but the change of garment, change of this external identity, and that need to be developed over the years of time. To that and for that, Sati has developed long time ago a Yog Nidra, and the title of the Yog Nidra is Yog Nidra with conscious death. What do you mean by conscious death? You are becoming so aware, and as Vivekananda left the body, so someday we'll develop that and we can leave the body as well. I had physically chance to meet a couple of people like this, so I can easily talk about it. And this thing has been happening in 3 generations: grandpa, father, and the son. What they do when the moment or the time comes, he says, let everybody meet me. I don't want to meet, but let everybody meet me. So everybody comes and he says, now, okay, Mr. A, you sit outside now. B, I saw you, met you, I'm fine. Go outside. So all the family members and friends, they came, met him or her, and they go outside. And they says, close the door, and after 5 minutes, take my body for cremation. And he sits in Padmasana, and in a very beautiful meditative posture, he has a lovely smile on his face. No fear, no sadness, nothing. And he has a joy of Purnam, radiance of peace, and radiance of love, and radiance of compassion. And then after 5 minutes, family members comes, prepares his body for the burial. 3 generations in a family. I had another friend of mine whose family has only 6 doctors. And when the grandpa slowly stopped eating, all the doctors were saying that no, he will become weak and he should be forced to eat. So he says, oh, The grandpa doesn't listen to Mr. C, but Mr. L, he will listen to. Call him, does this. Nothing doing, and he says, I do not want it. Finally, one of the elderly person in the family knew that I, your friend Sonaji, was also communicating very well with that senior person. And he says, call Sonaji. I did go there. I sat with him, but I could not ask him to eat anything. And I called the oldest fellow and I said, you may not like it, but I must tell you, leave your father alone. And you guys observe peace. And if at all you want to and you believe in prayer, do so. Let this gentleman be what he wants to be. And on the 7th minute, the person dropped. So to say, he knew and he was preparing himself. We all can prepare. But at least, even if we are not physically accomplished, but at least we can relieve little bit to some degree the fear of death. So, practice-wise, number one, every time we acquire anything externally, like eat, drink, smell, read, taste, touch, develop the awareness. My body is doing that. I am not. Much later, and maybe simultaneously, when you sit doing dharana that time, remind yourself that these thoughts are not mine, or I am not the thought. So will be the emotions. So will be the memory and intelligence. And a couple of times a week at least, if not every day, remind yourself with that Yog Nidra with conscious death, as to how you withdraw yourself willingly. With this, dear friend, if you will have questions, we'll talk, but let me end with everybody's joining Shanti Part. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. That's it.